Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Aswini, working with Walmart since last 8 years. So I wanted to give a quick intro how do I started at Walmart. So I was working with Aswini, who is now CTO of PayPal, and we casually discussing, and he's one of his colleague introduced me to him. And the first assignment for me was like how do we try to track all the trucks which are on the road, and we started with the POC. I was hearing the presentation from the previous one. He started on the garage. It was a similar thing, and we started with onboarding 3 trucks, and now we have more than 45,000 trucks, almost 60,000 drivers. That's the kind of power of Walmart. Anything you start could look very small, and in transit, Spark, like last mile delivery, Watch One, Supplier Center, Glass. So these are some of the things which I have seen in my eyes. The company has grown from 100 billion towards 1 trillion, and most of the major things working closely with Srini. So that was definitely one of the great experience, I would say. So other than that, I'm also one of the co-founder for AI Frontier, and we are partnering with LLMday for this show. And thank you so much, LLMday, for giving us recognition as well. We'll also partner with a lot of other vendors. So in my today's presentations, I'll be talking about mostly how the retail industry has been changing from the traditional way towards giving more of from reactive towards a proactive shopping experience. So if you see the way things has been happened in the past, so we used to have mostly headful shopping where you go and do search, click, check out, and more of every weekend on Saturday or Sundays, you have to remember I have to buy some items from Costco, buy from Walmart, buy from any other stores, spend the whole entire weekend going and hunting behind all these modern things. And this is where we have been coming all the way from last 20, 20, 30 years. And these things with AI has been drastically getting changed. We have seen maybe the tip of the iceberg, and we'll be keep saying more and more. I would say in next 2, 3 or 5 years, we'll drastically see how the things will be going towards from the headful, with the mobile apps and all, towards not like more of a headless where we don't have mobile apps. Everything has been driven through the agentic systems. So this is where what we are envisioning. How can we have more of frictionless, no repetitions, no guesswork? So more from reactive transactions. How can we go towards some more of proactive outcomes? And from systems that respond, how can we think about systems that operate? And this is where we are also thinking, envisioning about agentic commerce. So I wanted to specifically give a little bit on the Walmart scale size. It could be any retail, right? So I don't want to generalize anything on Walmart, but I'm just focusing around when you think about the scale. We let me 1 second. So when you think about the scale, so you can think about sorry. So how companies like Walmart has been hello, it's not audible. Audible? Hello? Stopped. Hello? It's working? Hello? Okay. If you see in terms of like now the number of weekly shoppers, so we have close to 255 million weekly shoppers. We have close to 10,000 stores across Walmart US alone. And these things also expanded if you think about other markets like Sam's Club. And we also have presence in India. We have Flipkart. We also have presence in Asda, Mexico, Canada. So altogether, in terms of the number of stores, so this could go beyond 10,000, could be like 25,000 stores. And we have the largest number of associates as well. We have about 2.1 million associates. So whenever we are thinking about any kind of things, not only for Walmart, right? Any kind of retail behemoth who can design this kind of systems, we have to think of the first thing about the scale. How can we scale our systems to ensure that anything happens, right? So we have, let's say, some products are greenfield, and some products are like MarTech, and some products are real enterprise. How can we make sure that we deploy all the things into a real enterprise, and every single loss about an agent could bring us loss of 100, $200 million, and that could be the revenue of one of the companies. Because if you see our gross amount of volume per year, it's like almost $700 billion. So that's 700 company altogether. And this is where we take it very seriously. Anything we deploy on the enterprise side, so that way we divide. I'll come to there. But when we divide the things, we wanted to make sure that the things which are mission critical, how can we make sure that these things are very serious for us? So when we started thinking about putting all our agentic system, the first thing we think about the composable commerce. So if you see back way, maybe 20 years ago, it was all ATG systems. And these systems has all combined into one single solution, which has single point of failure. And over the period of times, what we understood, e-commerce is not one-stop solutions. We have cart, we have checkout, we have purchase history, and we have many other items. And how can we make it more vendor neutral so that if things are getting evolved over the period of times, we should have a mechanism to replace any individual component and to extend with the market scope and to help the customers in terms of more adaptive. And this is where we started following modular approach. We tried to use best of the breed component. We also wanted to make sure that all the systems are pretty much adaptive. As the models are getting changed, we wanted to put it more flexible, which can quickly adapt to the market demands. So we follow the MACH architecture for most of our services. So MACH stands for modular, and it's a MACH foundation is based upon microagent, and things has been changed from microservices towards microagent, API first, cloud native and headless. And our composable commerce are thinking about more of seamless integrations and personalizations. On the left-hand side, you can see, let's say we have services like PM, customer applications, CMS, or creative services, which uses a lot of headless APIs. And now all these microservices has been getting transformed into microagent. And on the downside, you can see all these e-commerce websites. Let's say we have in-store, we have mobile applications or emails, all these digital applications. How can we give an experience which is more prone towards a MACH architecture? So that is the vision what we are putting together. So in terms of our foundational model, so we have Wallaby, and every company is focusing towards creating their own foundational model. And we are focused to create almost within 10 years of Walmart's highly contextual risk data. And Wallaby is our foundational model. And it follows natural communication. Right now, it's been deployed to Sparky, which is one of our super agent on Walmart website. And this is deployed towards customer-facing application. And the plan is to extend Wallaby into the merchant and suppliers and other entities as well. So we have a couple of super agents for Walmart. So some of them are Sparky, Marty, and YB. So when you talk about Sparky, so if you go to Walmart's customer sites, usually what used to happen, so you used to individually ask for single items. Now what has happened, let's say you have a 5th grader or 10th grader, and you are asking like, hey, can I have a more of a bundle one, but I have to combine everything together to give one-click solutions so that I have to just host the party and I don't want to take all the headaches. And this is where Sparky helps out, and we are optimizing quietly to ensure that it's not only helping you to buy some items, but it also helps us to do purchase history. It also helps you to track it out. What are the recurring items you can buy in terms of subscriptions? And instead of you go to the store, how can you ensure that these items you can return back automatically? The people, they come with the QR code, and all the things can be automated using agentic commerce. So Marty is our super agent for the advertisement. We have a lot of advertisers, and in terms of suppliers, like DSP suppliers, third-party suppliers, we have also marketplace. And this is where they used to take tons of time in terms of onboarding, creating the form. But now with the click of a button, you can onboard all of the suppliers into the supply center. And this is where Marty is helping us, all the suppliers, to come and onboard and focus on the business logic. And YB is our super agent in terms of the delivery for the code delivery. Now we have seen almost 80% the code has been automated using YB, and we have seen drastically a lot of code coverage has been changed, and it has helped us to improve our system performances. So as we evolve towards the retail agent architecture, so a couple of things I wanted to show here. Obviously, I wanted to bring together some of the key diagrams and architecture, but I was not clear in terms of what is the conference about. But anyway, in terms of putting together what kind of agents we use, so we have solo agents. So some of the things let's say you have purchase history, or you wanted to get a status of the order as order moves through different life cycle from order created, order ready for pickup, PO pickup completed, accepted, rejected, served, all these things, right? So those things has very independent task. And I think one gentleman was swinging towards more of a goal driven. So this clearly shows about how can we ensure that the specific task is getting delivered through the solo agent. Then we also have a reflex agent. The reflex agent, because Walmart is very big and we have more than 20,000 to 30,000 applications, how can we ensure that only certain proprietary data is accessed by only certain agents, and that this is where reflex agent helps. And these agents use retail APIs and tools to act with a more of a consistent autonomy. And we have collaborative agents. This is where we have all the things what happens from suppliers, merchants, and we have customers, and all the way, all the collaboration started with the pre-season, in-season, post-season management through all these merchants ahead of time, and suppliers produce these items, and all the POs are getting created. This whole natural cycle happens through collaboration between the suppliers, merchants, as well as the customers and transportation. This entire journey happens through the collaborative agent. And obviously, everyone is focusing towards going towards autonomous agent, and we are also doing the same. So one of the things what is mission critical for us for this year is Universal Commerce Protocol. So this has been designed by Google, most recently launched 3 months ago. And we have, this is very mission critical for us. The reason behind, we have over 50 billion shopping items. So in terms of inventory, one of the things what is critical for us during our annual events or any kind of happens, let's say we have Easter events happens, we have annual events or any other things happen, any other mission critical events are happening. How can we ensure that what items are more interested for customers and we put a rollback? This is very critical for us, and this is one of the driving factor for our revenue. So if you see, let's say Instapot, 5 years ago it was hot cake for us. That was the number one selling product for Walmart. Same thing like, let's say, earpods. So that was the top selling items for our annual event last year. And now this year we wanted to automate using our shopping agents. How can we make sure that in terms of goal driven shopping, try to see the user intent once and again using the orchestration, delivery, comparison, building substitutions, and purchases in a continuous flow. And we also wanted to make sure that how the merchants will have more control in terms of returning, securing the first-class APIs, and building this shopping graph, which can help us in terms of curating all these 15 billion product listings in real times and give our pricing and updates. So what are the agentic frameworks we are using and are specifically in retails? We use simple use cases. We use LangChain, and this is where like no-brainer, very small things. And we, for a little bit of complex use cases, we use LangGraph. And obviously, like I think most of it's one of the pretty popular framework as well. We are like Google GCP shop. We use the ADK pretty often. We use Vertex AI. This is something I'll come back. But some teams, they also started using LaMDAX, and we also use AutoGen and Creo AI for certain use cases. So in terms of the Gemini and Vertex AI, so this is one of the heavily used like our agentic framework in Walmart. So we use a Gemini 2.5 Pro, which has advanced reasoning capabilities with 1 million context windows. We use a Gemini 2.5 Plus, which has efficient model for faster processing. We use Vertex AI, which is used for end-to-end platforms with AIs and builders. We use a lot of things on MCP and A2A. I think we saw that using the MCPs and the A2A. We use a lot of them as well. So yeah, I think the last conversation was we have 70,000 MCP servers in Walmart. That's quite a big number. And we are trying to tune it down in terms of registry, trying to put all the authentications, could be one of the biggest producers of the MCP servers in any of the companies. So in terms of the A2A collaboration, we use, let's say you have agents on the left-hand side. So we have two agents, could be cross-functional with a different agentic framework. And we could have local agents, remote agents. Some of them has memory scales we all talked about. And we have, let's say, some are built on Vertex AI. Somebody could be in Llama Index, or it could be a simple like LLM. And now they all use MCPs to get connected. And this is where you can use the secure discoveries using your own authentication mechanism, using the standard JSON card to declare its own capabilities and enable the predictions and engage between each other like a conference room. And they can go and across all these agents could be across search, pricing, inventory, and fulfillment to align on any decisions. So I'll move a little bit fast forward on the agentic orchestration. So in terms of the orchestration, why this is very critical for us? Because Walmart systems are very complex. So you have to understand, let's say we think about one process only for suppliers that could have 50,000 to 100,000 nodes. So in the entire process, how do you ensure that even if a small risk in a small failure could end up 100 million to 200 million loss for us? And this is where we wanted to make sure that our orchestration robots, AI agents, and people with the unified workflow make sure that all the continuous insights, observabilities, KPIs, everything is enforced in such a way that we don't see any kind of failures. That is the whole thought process behind this. So we wanted to make sure that it's more adaptable, it's more optimized, it's resilient across all the things with less blast radius. So what are the focus we are doing in terms of agentic orchestrations? We all use models. We all started using implementations. We go through all the operations, monitor and optimize. I'll move fast forward. So one of the things that I will focus maybe a couple of seconds here. So in terms of the agentic orchestration operations, the key idea behind how do we see our graph in terms of like blue and red, so sorry, green and red. In this visualizations, we wanted to track all the sessions, all the agents together to see where exactly the failure points are. And in terms of authentication and authorizations, what kind of authorizations they have access to. So those are very mission critical to us. And this is more of orchestration monitoring process. We so visualize and try to see in terms of KPI metrics how the process really works. So now let's quickly talk about the optimization strategies, right? So as we are going through this orchestration process, one of the key things what we are looking for is how do we optimize? Because if you see Walmart, the most important things we are known for is how do we save money and live better. That's where like you in this world, if you wanted to buy something, the first thing you come to your mind is, okay, hey, what is the price in Walmart? I'm buying for a milk. What is the price in Walmart? That is the kind of standard everyone has in mind. And this is also, as associates, we also wanted to maintain from our side, how can we save money for you? And this is also what we do in terms of our model optimization strategies. What we see, we always try to see, we started with a large language model into our clouds. Now we wanted to have the similar kind of venture into our edge systems in the stores. We have close to 25,000 stores. And for all the stores, the mission critical thing is that how can we deploy the small language models into the store? And then we also have transportation systems, which is a big thing for us. We have 40,000 trucks. And we wanted to use our private Wi-Fi to specifically for the truck. As the trucks goes navigated from one DC to another DC, something similar to your Uber journey. You go for a Uber and that's for 30 minutes. But for in-transit for Walmart, that is at least 7 days. And in the 7 days, the truck comes from all the way from East Coast towards West Coast, all the way. Sometimes it goes even to Hawaii as well, to Alaska. So that kind of the map, we have to build it for the trucks. And in that whole process, we wanted to optimize our nodes in such a way that it gives more of profit for us so that we can give back the profit to the customers. And for the model scaling, what we see, we opt for 3 to 8 billion models whenever it's suitable. So focus more on the smaller models, which delivers a better result than the large general purpose models. In terms of our precision strategies, we implement int8, int4 quantizations along with the FP16 and BF16 mixed precisions. This has drastically reduces our memory footprint by 50 to 70%. In terms of the memory optimizations, we use a flash attention and page attention mechanism to achieve a lower memory per token and faster decoding. Specifically for agentic architecture excellences in terms of MCP and HWA, we always try to make sure how can we maintain the state hygiene, because this is one of the things this is mission critical to us. So we always use a structured blackboard memory with JSON IDs, prone history, and reference passings. We use DAG schedulings for parallelized independent agent and micro batch share tools. And we also use smart routing, as I told, right? So we always wanted to make sure that how can we try to optimize to the smallest model first and escalating to domain-specific models when uncertainty arises or escalation happens. So in terms of the retrieval and MCP server optimizations, we try to use chunk optimizations. One of the things is very critical to us is we use tight 200 to 400 tokens with recall and re-rank pipelines. We try to feed only the top 3 results to minimize the context pollution. In terms of the concurrency control, we try to use a limit implied request and with the queue limits and rate limits, we try to apply the back pressures and load setting when demand exceeds safe capabilities. So in terms of the performance patterns, we try to deploy timeouts, retries, circuit breakers. We set our low price request when our queue depth exceeds 75% of the capacity. So in terms of the caching strategies, we use R tools plus R version has. We try to use request coalescing and for identical calls. So using all these optimizations, what we have seen in terms of production impact, we have seen 75% of cost reductions from 0.02 cents to 0.005 per query through quantized 7.75 billion models. We have seen 70% of latency improvements for our models from 5 seconds to 1.5 seconds via parallelisms, batching, and streaming optimizations. We have seen 3x throughput boost from 1K to 3K per queries per GPU per hour. So that's all for today. And I just wanted to announce one thing. Our company is growing. So we are actively looking for a lot of engineers in terms of AI engineers, data sciences, product managers, AI operations. And if you wanted to be part of a company, which is one of the biggest companies in the planet, with the largest number of employees in the world, and give an impact, not to yourself, but to your friends, family, colleagues around the globe, this is the place you wanted to work. And so go to careers.walmart.com and I'll be happy to refer to you and take my QR code. And once you apply, so please let me know and I'll send a message to the HR and take it forward. That's all for today. And thank you so much for your time and thanks for attending my presentation.